Today, I want to talk about the story of a young lady that had a misunderstanding with her husband, and the husband asked her to leave the house because he needs space. According to her, the misunderstanding was because he forgot to go and pick the kids from school and they quarreled about it. That was the reason why he asked her to leave his house with the children, and she had to go and stay in her mother's. And then after some time, she came back to meet him with the kids, and he didn't allow them to go into the house. So this is a story from a young lady that needs advice. What should she do? And this story was gotten from a Twitter user. Okay, it's a true life story. So I just want to bring it to my audience. I just want to bring it to my subscribers here. So you too can drop your own thoughts, your opinion about the story. Story time. Now, this lady, she's married to her husband for some time, for some years now, and they happen to have kids, children, all right? But along the line, this man just decided that she should leave the house with the kids, that he needs to be alone, that he needs some time alone. And she was like, okay. Now, according to her, it was not like a big issue for him to ask them to leave the house. It was because he was the one that forgot to pick the kids from school. And they had a quarrel about it. Initially, according to her, she didn't want to leave the house with the kids, but she just wanted to give him space as he demanded. But he insisted that she must go with the kids. So eventually, she left with the kids to her mom's place. Then after 2 weeks, she came back to the house with the kids, and this man refused them to go in. He literally asked them to go back from the door. So she had to go back to her mom's house with the kids. She sent him several messages. She called him, but he refused to pick any of her calls or return any of the calls or reply to any of the messages. And then she stayed in her mom's place for another 2 weeks. Along the line, her ex, who was based in the abroad, came back and they reconnected. The ex told her, he promised her that he wants her back, even with the kids. He had always wanted her back, but she was one that was skeptical, like because she was married, she don't want any other relationship affair outside her marriage anymore. But this time around, she accepted and they started dating. Okay, so the ex even rented an apartment for her and the kids and enrolled the kids in a new school. After some time, she stopped calling her husband, she stopped texting her husband because obviously she's not in a new relationship. But this her husband now realized himself and came back to the mom's house, came back to her begging, started calling, started texting, started begging. But she refused to accept him or even follow him back to their house, to their matrimonial home, all because her ex said no. Her ex begged her not to. According to the story, the ex came prepared this time. He was even willing and ready to marry her legally and take her and the kids back to the States. But first of all, he said she has to first of all divorce her husband. Now, she said her husband is a good man and her ex is also a good man. But she's deeply in love with the ex now, obviously because he has given her a lot of attention, a lot of good treatment. So she said she's in love with the ex now. And the husband is begging every day for her to come back. Even her home mom that was begging her to go back to the husband, that the husband refused to accept her back, told her that she can go ahead and do whatever she wants to do. Why? Because the husband refused to accept her the times that she has gone to beg and plead with him. So at this point, she said she is confused, that she don't know if she should go back to her husband or if she should continue with the ex, that she needs advice. Now, first of all, this is marriage we are talking about. I am not siding any of the parties, the husband or the wife or even the ex that came from nowhere. I'm not siding any of the parties because this is not a relationship, this is a marriage. For you to even reconcile back with your ex, for you to even go on a date with your ex, that is adultery, sis. Because this is not a relationship where there's a misunderstanding and you move out and you go into another relationship. this is a marriage and there are kids involved. So you can't just move on with your life like you are a single person. Okay, when there is a misunderstanding between you and your husband, you don't just move on with your life like that. And from the calculation, this is just like 1 month after that you're moving on with your ex. Yes, for the husband, for you to ask your family to leave your house because of a simple misunderstanding, that is the height of irresponsibility on your own side. You don't act that way. You don't tell your family to leave your house. Rather, you should be the one to give them space to move out if you need to clear your head. But not the other way around, where you ask your family to leave your house, your kids to leave your house. You transfer the aggression from your wife to your kids. And even when they came back begging to come into their own house, you still send them back. That is the height of irresponsibility. What example are you showing to your children? If you are not a loving wife, a loving husband to your wife, then why don't you be a loving father to your children? So that alone is really, really unacceptable. And then for the wife, you move on to your ex. What now happens when eventually you and your ex get married and you have a misunderstanding? It means that you now move on to another person that will be coming from another side, another state. This time, this one come from the United States, right? This other time, this one will now come from Australia. So things are not done that way. Even under the law, you can't divorce your husband or your wife within a month or within few months. This is a process that takes time. First of all, you will separate and then you will now file divorce, okay? You don't just divorce within a month or within some months. It takes time until you divorce your husband. That is when you can move on with your ex. So, in my own opinion, for the sake of the children, just go back to your husband. Just go back to him and reconcile and make peace with him. Because if you are going to marry your ex, that marriage is already doomed from the beginning because of the kids involved. Alright? Yeah. So guys, what do you think about this lady's story? Please do well to drop your opinion in the comment section because she needs your advice. And also subscribe to the channel, click on the notification button so you get notified when I upload interesting content, interesting stories like this one. Thank you and see you in the next one. Bye.